1205.
Yes.
Sit up live, Madam, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I am Senator Abdullahi Adamu, and I rise to draw attention to an omission in the votes and proceedings of the 29th of September 2021 at page 5, 1205, under paragraph 5 of the votes and proceedings, which starts at page 1204. But at 1205, under amendment proposed, the amendments are properly reflected, but in the resolution, agriculture is missing. The main amendment has to do with agriculture being included. So after excise and tariff, agriculture should be there, on the committee proposed. So it will read, the Senate do mandate is Joint Committee on Trade and Investment, Aviation and Customs, Excise and Tariff, and Agriculture. Committee on Agriculture. I so observe.
Secretariat, please note. One 206, 1207, 1208, 1209, 1210, 1211, 1212, 1213, 1214, 1215, 1216, 1217, 1218, 1219, 1220, 1221, 1222, 1223, 1224, 1225, 1226, 1227, 1228, 1229, 1230, 1231, 1232, 1233, 1234, 1235, 1236, 1237, 1238, 1239, 1240, 1241, 1242, 1243, 1244, 1245, 1246, 1247, 1248, 1249, 1250, 1251, 1252, 1253, 1254, 1255, 1256, 1257, 1258, 1259, 1260, 1261, 1262, 1263, 1264, 1265, 1266, 1267, 1268, 1269, 1270, 1271, 1272, 1273, 1274, 1275, 1276, 1277, 1278, 1279, 1280, 1281, 1282, 1283, 1284, 1285, 1286, 1287, 1288, 1289, 1290, 1291, 1292, 1293, 1294, 1295, 1296, 1297, 1298, 1299, 1300, 1301, 1302, 1303, 1304, 1305, 1306, 1307, 1308, 1309, 1310, 1311, 1312, 1313, 1314, 1315, 1316, 1317, 1318, 1319, 1320, 1321, 1322, 1323, 1324, 1325, 1326, 1327, 1328, 1329, 1330, 1331, 1332, 1333. Senator Betty Apiafi. Senator Betty Apiafi. Oh, she's not here?
Okay.
Let me have you. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 29 September 2021 be adopted as so moved.
Senator Gobiru, please. Senator Gobiru.
Your Excellency, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Ibrahim Gobiru, representing Sokoto East. I second the motion earlier moved by Jeff that the votes and proceedings of 29 September 2021 be approved. I second.
Those in favor of the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, the 29th day of September 2021, be adopted, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The votes and proceedings of Wednesday, the 29th day of September 2021 is hereby approved and adopted. As amended. Okay. Let me see. Huh? Okay. Announcement. Letter from Mr. President. Distinguished Senator Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, President of the Senate, Senate Chambers, National Assembly, 3rd Arms, 3 Arms Zone, Abuja. Dear distinguished Mr. President, appointment of Chief Judge for the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory. In accordance with the provisions of Section 256 of Section 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I hereby forward for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of the Honorable Justice Hussein Baba Yusuf as the Chief Judge of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. While hoping that this request will receive the usual expeditious consideration of the Senate, please accept the distinguished Senate President the assurances of my highest regards. Muhammadu Buhari, President. Letter from Mr. President. Distinguished Senate President Ahmed Lawan, President of the Senate, Senate Chambers, the National Assembly Complex, 3 Arms Zone, Abuja. Dear distinguished Senate President, submission of the revised FGN 2022 to 2024 medium-term fiscal framework. It is with pleasure that I forward the revised 2022 to 2024 medium-term fiscal framework (MTFF) for the kind consideration and approval of the distinguished Senate. The revision was necessitated by the need to reflect the new fiscal terms in the petroleum industry at PIA 2021, as well as other critical expenditures in the 2022 budget. The underlying drivers of the 2022 fiscal projections, such as oil price benchmark, oil production volume, exchange rate, GDP growth, and inflation rate reflect emergent realities and the macroeconomic outlook and remain unchanged as in previously approved 2022 to 2024 MTF and the FSP. The PIA establishes a progressive fiscal framework aimed at encouraging investment in the Nigerian petroleum industry. This significantly alters the oil and gas fiscal terms and has necessitated changes in the 2022 to 2024 medium-term fiscal framework. The fiscal effects of PIA implementation are presumed to kick in by mid-year 2022. The revised 2022 to 2024 fiscal framework is the premise on hybrid of January to June based on current fiscal regime and July to December based on PIA fiscal regime, while 2023 and 2024 are now fully based on the PIA. Arising from this, therefore, the other critical expenditures that should be accommodated in the 2022 budget, the changes to the 2022 projections in the fiscal framework are as follows. Federation account revenue. A. Gross revenue projection decreased by 341.57 billion. Decreased by 341.57 billion naira from 8.87 trillion to 8.528 trillion. B. Deductions for federally funded upstream project costs and 13% derivation decreased by 335.3 billion naira and 810.25 million naira respectively. C. Net oil and gas revenue projection declined by 5.42 billion naira from 6.540 trillion to 6.535 trillion naira. FGN retained revenue. A projected decline in net oil and gas revenue by 5.42 billion naira. B, an increase in projected federal government of Nigeria's retained revenue from 8.36 trillion to 10.13 trillion naira, inclusive of GOEs, largely based on 1, a projected increase in the revenues of government-owned enterprises GOEs by 837.76 billion naira. 2, MDA's internal general revenue by 697.6 billion naira. 3, the introduction of education tax of 306 billion naira and dividend of 8.3 billion naira from the Bank of Industry as revenue lines. And 4, federal government of Nigeria's share of oil price royalty of 96.9 billion naira, which is expected to be transferred to the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority based on the provisions of the PIA. Federal government of Nigeria expenditure. A, the federal government of Nigeria aggregate expenditure, including GOEs and project-style loans, is projected to increase by 2.4 trillion naira from 13.98 trillion naira to 16.45 trillion naira. B, the increase in expenditure is due to 100 billion naira additional provisions to INEC to cater for the 2023 general elections. 6, the provision of 54 billion naira to NASENI, which represents 1% FGN share of the Federation account. 7, additional provision of 510 billion naira in the service-wide votes to cater for national poverty reduction with growth strategy 300 billion naira, police operations fund 50 billion naira, hazard allowance for health workers 50 billion naira, public service wage adjustments additional 80 billion naira, and MDA's electricity bills debt additional 37 billion naira. 8, additional capital provision of 1.70 trillion naira attributed to projected increases in capital supplementation by 179.1 billion naira, GOE's capital by 222.1 billion naira, TED fund expenditure by 290.7 billion naira, multilateral and bilateral project side loans by 517.5 billion naira, and MDA's capital expenditure by 390.5 billion naira, including 178.1 billion naira provision for population and housing census to be carried out in 2022. Fiscal deficit. A, the aggregate deficit inclusive of GOEs and project-tied loans is projected to increase by 692.0 billion naira or to 3.42% of GDP from 3.05% of GDP. I herewith forward the revised 2022 to 2024 MTF, as the 2022 budget of the federal government will be prepared based on the parameters and fiscal assumptions of the approved revised 2022 to 2024 MTF. I seek the cooperation of the National Assembly for the expeditious legislative action on the submission. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest regard, Muhammadu Buhari, and of course with their measure. Leader of the Senate. Oh, sorry. Petition. Senator Sekibo, please.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am Senator George Thompson Sekibo, CON, Rivers East. Mr. President, I have a petition for one of my constituents, Honorable Jacob Uwezo Nwala, who was a member of House of Representatives 1999 to 2003. He had a property that was forcefully taken away from him by one Mr. Felix Ogbofo and a team of soldiers. He has written to us for the Senate to intervene and see how his property could be reverted back to him. This matter is not before the court. Mr. President, if you allow me, I will lay it to the commission.
You may lay, please. The petition is referred to the Committee on Letters and Privileges to return back in 2 weeks. Petitions. Our Chief Justice.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name remains Senator Yoaki and representing Ondo Central. Mr. President, presentation of petition not laid or refer to the Committee on Ethics from the Office of the President of the Senate. The Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions, in line with Order 41, 1 and 3, which is to present to the Senate some petition yet to be laid from the Office of the President of the Senate, in order to officially place the petition in the public domain through the floor of the Senate and for the votes and proceedings to capture the approval for referral. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, please find below a summary of petitions received from the Office of the President of the Senate for ease of reference. 1. Petition from Sir Daniel N. Shukwodozo of Hardy Oil Nigeria Limited against the Department of Petroleum Resources and Haki Exploration and Production Limited. Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum and Honorable Minister of Petroleum Resources and 4 others. Subject matter of the petition: report of case of fraud, criminal breach of trust, fraudulent misrepresentation, forgery, corruption, and improper reallocation of Atala Marginal Field OML 46 and the award of same to Hacking Exploration and Production Limited by the Department of Petroleum Resources DPR under suspicious circumstances inter alia. Number 2, petition from Farouk Adamu and 2 others as referred to Senate by Senator Mohammed Sani Musa against the Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC, a plea for your intervention in wrongful termination of our appointment with the Federal Road Safety Corps. Number 3, Inspector Olisa Emmanuel against the Nigerian Police Force, a letter of appeal for promotion. Number 4, FOC Ozebu against Mr. Okechukwu Ayogu and others from Ozila Community in Enugu State. Subject matter of the petition: invasion, threat to life, and wanton destruction of property worth over 500 million of our client by men of Ozila Abo Community assisted by fully armed military men and courtiers in attempt at annihilating our client's whole community. And finally, Mr. President, petition from Michael Uban and Okoye Maureen against Union Homes and Savings Limited. Major stroke acquisition of Union Homes Savings and Loans and also savings, customer investment, access frustration, and total denial of utilization. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, to the best of my knowledge, none of the above patients seeking judicial remedy. I therefore move, Mr. President, to seek the indulgence of the Senate to lay the above petition before the Senate for official referral to the committee for further legislative action. I so move, Mr. President.
You may lay the same. Thank you. All of the petitions are referred to the Committee on Ethics and Privileges to report back in 2 weeks. Point of order. Senator Tinubu, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise on, my name is Oluremi Tinubu, representing Lagos Central Senatorial District. I rise on order 43 and 52. Do I read it? By the indulgence of the Senate and the leave of the President of the Senate, a senator may make a personal explanation, although there may be, the matter of discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the...
Are you reading 42 or 43? Okay.
The matter for discussion, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. 52. Notice shall not be dispensed with in the case of a motion or in respect of any other proceeding for which notice is required except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the general assent of the senators present. Mr. President, this morning I approached the leadership and I informed you about a motion which needs which is a matter of urgent public matter that I would like to bring it to the floor of the Senate this morning. And then you said, I should. So I'm here.
Thank you, distinguished colleagues. Matter of fact, yes, she did discuss this with us this morning in leadership. And as you know, by the provisions of our rules, we require your concurrence by at least 1/5 of the senators present. before she can take it. So those in favor that she proceeds to, with a motion, say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. The motion is the urgent need to tackle the protracted Apapa gridlock in Lagos and embrace the newly introduced electronic call-up system of admitting trucks into the terminal. And this motion is sponsored by the 3 senators representing Lagos State. My humble self, Senator Adeola Solomon Olamilekan, Lagos West, and Senator Abiru Tokunbo Mukai, Lagos East. The Senate notes with great displeasure the gridlock which has persisted on access roads to Apapa Seaport in Lagos and has for many years been a source of heartache for individuals and businesses plying the route. Senate is also aware that the gridlock has persisted due to the terrible condition of the Apapa Ports roads, the concentration of tax farms in the area, indiscriminate parking of petroleum tanks.
Order. Excuse me. Senator, I think it would have been appropriate you gave me a copy of that. We don't have the prayers. So we follow you and also know the prayers you're going to be raising. Only one? Okay, go ahead.
The Senator is also aware that the gridlock has persisted due to the terrible conditions of Apapa Ports Road. The concentration of tank farms in the area, indiscriminate parking of petroleum tankers and trailers wanting to load petroleum from the tank farms, and the racket created by persons benefiting from the chaotic situation. Senate is also aware that the tank farms attract thousands of trucks and tanker drivers who lift petroleum products for onward supply to Nigerians, who, owing to a paucity of parking lots, take up all the space on the road instead, thereby causing traffic. Senate is also informed that there are about 30 tank farms in Oshodi-Apapa axis alone. This over-concentration is disadvantageous because one accident could be the undoing of this very important aspect of the federal government earning. The Senate also informed that the unpalatable situation has made the area a gold mine for unscrupulous persons and operatives who have gone on to create a racket profiting off the turmoil created. Decries the poor quality of port access roads, complex port procedures, and ineffective truck call-up system, among other factors, contributing to delays, inefficiencies, and gridlock in Apapa with huge costs to Nigeria's economy. The Senate notes that this gridlock has increased the cost of doing business, encouraged illegalities, and stifled port activities with its attendant negative impact on government's revenue projections. The Senate is concerned that the roads leading to Apapa are characterized with so much traffic that people would rather walk than drive. The Senate is worried that this gridlock has continued to pose security threats to the lives of innocent Nigerians as hoodlums exploit the situation to dispossess motorists and passerby of their valuables. Senate also is worried that due to the deplorable state of the roads, other unfinished construction works, and the number of trucks and containers on the road, there have been several cases of containers falling on smaller vehicles, killing innocent citizens, while goods worth millions of naira are also destroyed or stolen in these accidents. The Senate further notes that only recently, following allegations of extortion by security operatives posted to the area, the Presidential Task Force handed over the reins of managing the traffic situation to the Lagos State government, which in turn set up the Apapa Special Traffic Management and Compliance Enforcement Team. The Senate observes that the Nigerian Ports Authority recently introduced an electronic call-up system for admitting trucks into the terminal and to control the movement of trucks in and out of Lagos seaports. The Senate is concerned that in spite of the well-intentioned initiatives, The chaotic traffic situation still lingers as truckers and tankers still park indiscriminately on the road, causing inconvenience to residents, commuters, and business activities in the area. Senate also concerned that tankers have not been incorporated into the e-call-up system, and the areas where container trucks used to be stationed have now been taken over by the tankers. Bothered by the seeming discord among stakeholders in the implementation of the e-call-up system, NUPENG representatives have reportedly stated that the initiative is not feasible, not only because alternative parking lots have not been provided, but also because as a body, NUPENG is not subject to the authority of the implementing agency, the Nigerian Ports Authority. Senate is further concerned that clearing agents and truck owners along the port access road at the Tinkan Island Port Complex accuse officials of the Nigerian Ports Authority, security agents and the police personnel who are deployed to manage traffic in the area of sabotaging the smooth operation of the newly introduced scheme by colluding with community boys, touts and miscreants who disregard official e-call-up tickets to extort truckers. Senate notes allegations by industry operators such as the National Association of Road Transport Owners that human interference in the e-call-up system continues to hamper resolution of the issues and compound the problem. Senate, however, is saddened that the recurring Apapa gridlock has become an embarrassment to our nation and a sore point for maritime business along the Lagos and Tinkan Island Ports corridor, and also saddened that this has a huge impact on the ease of doing business in Nigeria, shipping fees and final cost of goods. Senate further saddened that the outcome is a diversion of Nigeria-bound cargoes to neighboring countries with seaports. Senate is, however, reminded that being the country's most valuable import and export gateway and a high-yielding revenue hub, Apapa ports reportedly rake in over 1 trillion annually into public treasury through various taxes, levies, and tariffs. The Senate also reminded that as a stakeholder in the success of Nigeria, we must ensure viable working systems and institutions that, however, Senate accordingly resolves 1. Commend the federal government for the reconstruction of Oshodi-Apapa Expressway and the completion of the Apapa Port spur line of the Lagos-Ibadan rail. 2. Urge the private terminal operators to explore water transport as an option in the movement of containers. 3. Urge the federal government to collaborate with the Lagos State government and other critical stakeholders to evaluate all petrol tankers and heavy-duty vehicles along the Apapa Port access roads. 4. Urge the federal government to collaborate with the Lagos State government to ensure that tank farms are relocated to other areas. 5. Urge the Federal Ministry of Works to commence the construction and repair of all access roads to seaport, namely the Apapa Creek Road, Apapa Oshodi Expressway, and Tinkan Island. 6. Direct the Committee on Marine Transport to investigate the implementation of the e-call-up system and allegations of extortion by port officials and report back to the Senate on the way forward. And 7. Direct the Committee on Marine Transport, Works and Petroleum to meet the Nigerian Ports Authority, concessionaires, Nigerian Union of Petroleum Engineers, and all other stakeholders to ensure resolution of pending conflicts and ensure synergy among stakeholders. This is my case, and thank you, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, for giving me the time.
Thank you, Senator Tinubu. Senator Adiola A.K. Yayi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleague. Let me start by commending Her Excellency, distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu, for coming up with this all-important motion as
this motion affect the revenue of this country. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, if you have been following what has been happening, this is about the third or the fourth time that we are coming up with this same motion concerning the state of affairs in the area of infrastructure in Apapa Expressway, where the Nigerian Port Authority is located. Mr. President, the body of the motion is self-explanatory enough concerning the challenges and the problem confronting millions of Nigeria who are doing business with the Nigerian Port Authority. Mr. President, we cannot be a lawless country. We are law-abiding people, a law-abiding country. I'm fully aware that the government of the day has done a lot to ameliorate the suffering of the people, and they have put a lot of measures in place to stem the tide of these uncontrollable truck drivers who have on their own decided to be lawless, and that has resulted into a lot of issues around this axis. Mr. President, I think it is high time we invite the Minister of Transportation and the Minister for State for Transportation to come and brief this Senate what and what that has been done and what they are doing in this regard. I commend the government of Lagos State. I'm fully aware that the government of Lagos State have even moved office to this particular road. They have set up a makeshift office in order to control the traffic and also to add value to the infrastructure on this particular road. But as we speak, all efforts that have been put in place to ensure that these issues is resolved once and for all, from time to time, for whatever reason, for the truck drivers and anybody that is involved, they have refused to allow it to work. And I believe it is time for the government to take a more drastic measures in this regard. We must commend President Muhammadu Buhari for signing the first PPP Port Authority, where people are coming together to build a new port authority along the Lekki axis. But before that comes to being, there is need for us to address this particular issue once and for all, because there are lots of quality time and lots of revenue on the part of the government. And I strongly believe that this motion is timely, is very instructive, that we as a Senate and as a body to join hands to ensure that this issue is resolved once and for all. So, Mr. President, I second this motion in its entirety. I'm in support of it, and I call on the Senate to take more drastic measures by inviting the Minister of Transportation to appear either with before the committee or the Senate to address this issue once and for all. I so submit, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Yaye. This is a very, very straightforward motion, but be that as it may, I will take Senator Nicola Tofuomo and they will do the prayers. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Senate President. I'm happy that we are discussing the seaport of Apapa and Tinkan Island. In this country, we are always deceiving ourselves. We have, in South Africa, there are 96 seaports, serving a population of under 100 million. In Nigeria, we have a population of over 200 million, and we are struggling with 6 seaports. Why are we deceiving ourselves? I sponsored a bill here that there should be a functioning seaport in Ondo State. If that seaport is put in place, it will decongest Apapa port, where states like Ondo State, Ekiti State, Kogi State, Osun State, Edo State, they will be able to use the around of this seaport in Ondo State, and automatically it will decongest Apapa seaport. It's just very unfortunate. In the United Kingdom, there are over 200 seaports, and we are only struggling with 6. Why don't we let us build more seaports so that all these problems can go to sleep and we can enjoy Nigeria. And additional seaports will create jobs, will make life very important for us in this country. All of us cannot be struggling with Apapa seaport. So I believe we should wake up and put things right in this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We move straight to the prayers. Prayer number 1. Commend the federal government for the reconstruction of Oshodi-Apapa Expressway and the completion of the Apapa Port spur line of the Lagos-Ibadan Rail. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2. Urge the private terminal operators to explore water transport as an option in the movement of containers. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3. Urge the federal government to collaborate with the Lagos State government and other critical stakeholders to evacuate all petrol tankers and heavy-duty vehicles along the Apapa Port access road. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 4. Urge the federal government to collaborate with the Lagos State government to ensure that tank farms are relocated to other areas. Those in support of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 5. Urge the Federal Ministry of Works to commence the reconstruction and repair of all access roads to the seaport, namely the Apapa Creek Road, Apapa/Oshodi Expressway, and Tinkan Island. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 6. Direct the Committee on Marine Transport to investigate the implementation of the e-call-up system and allegations of extortion by port officials and report back to the Senate on the way forward. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 7. Direct the Committees on Marine Transport, Works and Petroleum to meet with the Nigerian Ports Authority, concessionaires, Nigerian Union of Petroleum Engineers, and all other stakeholders to ensure resolution of pending conflicts and ensure synergy among stakeholders. Senator, when you say petroleum, you're talking about upstream, downstream? Which of them? Both? Is it downstream? So downstream petroleum. Okay, are you amending that? So, okay. So those in favor of this prayer as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I would like to start by invoking Order 1B of our standing order, which state, and with your permission I read that in all cases not provided for hereinafter or any sessional or other orders or practice of the Senate shall by resolution regulate its procedures. Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues, I am coming under this order in order to fast track the committal of the submission which was read on the floor of this Senate by the Senate President by way of the letter that we received from Mr. President. This letter asks for a submission or a revision of the MTEP that we passed last week in order to capture some of the provisions, the fiscal provisions that have been made in the Petroleum Industry Act. Judging from the fact that the President is likely going to submit the budget to the National Assembly on Thursday, it is important that these revisions are made. You recall that in the Petroleum Industry Act implementation brochure or implementation processes, these provisions of the fiscal provisions are supposed to kick in by the middle of 2022. Therefore, these amendments that the President has sent to us should be reflected, to facilitate the submission of the revised, to facilitate the inclusion of the revision in the budget that is going to come before us on Thursday. Therefore, Mr. President, I would like to move a motion that this submission of the issue be committed to the Committee on Finance so that they can be able to work on it and give us for our approval tomorrow. In order to facilitate this, I move the motion that this Senate provide for the commitment of Mr. President's letter to this August body, that the commitment, the revision that is being sought, be referred to the Committee on Finance for submission of the revision to us tomorrow, 6th October 2021. I so move.
Thank you, Leader. Actually, we have two motions here, listening to you. The first one is the standing order 1B motion, which the minority leader will respond to, will second, and thereafter the second motion to commit. Am I right? Yes. So there are two motions here. So leader, the minority leader, please second the order 1B motion first, and then thereafter we take the second motion.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I will second both motions at the same time by saying that both motions that have been raised by the leader of the Senate, I so second.
Those in favor that the first motion moved under standing order 1B be approved, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The second motion is a motion for committal of the correspondence to the Committee on Finance. That's the second motion. Those in favor of that motion say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate, move the motion, please.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the first business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Ibrahim Yahya Oloregbe on the Health Education Practitioners Board of Nigeria Registration etc. Bill 2021. Mr. President, we wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Health Education Practitioners Board of Nigeria Registration etc. Bill 2021, SB 299, first reading.
Health Education Practitioners Board of Nigeria Registration etc. Bill 2021, SB 299, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
The Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Veterinary Research Institute Gombe Establishment Bill 2021, SB 782, first reading.
National Veterinary Research Institute Gumbe Establishment Bill 2021 SB 782. First reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of a bill in the name of distinguished Senator Nicholas Olubukola Tofomo on the Institute of Culture and Tourism Igbo on those State Establishment Bill 2021. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Institute of Culture and Tourism Igbo on those State Establishment Bill 2021 SB 819, first reading.
Institute of Culture and Tourism Igbo on those State Establishment Bill 2021 SB 819, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Smart Ademi on the Legal Education Consolidation Act, Cap 10 L10, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 Amendment Bill 2021. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Legal Education Consolidation Act, Cap L10 LFN 2004 Amendment Bill 2021 SB 820, first reading.
Legal Education Consolidation Act, Cap L10 LFN 2004 Amendment Bill 2021 SB 820, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill in the name of distinguished Senator Jarigbe Agom Jarigbe on the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Act number 7, 2007 Amendment Bill 2021. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Act number 7, 2007 Amendment Bill 2021 SB 821, first reading.
Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Act number 7, 2007 Amendment Bill 2021 SB 821, first reading taken. Before I call leader, let me just clear this. Leader, the committee we did the other time, dealing with the MTF, the chairman and members of the committee on finance will have to report back to us latest tomorrow to enable us use it as a predicate for the budget presentation on Thursday. Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the first order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes on the screening of the following persons as listed on the order paper for appointment as Secretary and members of the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC. They are as follows. Number 1, Mr. George Abang Ekongu, Secretary to the Commission, Edo, Cross River. Lukman Mohammed, Board Member from Edo. Anumba Adaize, Board Member from Enugu. Alhaji Kola Rahim Adeshina, Board Member from Kwara. Alhaji Haya Muhammad, Board Member from Yobe. The single senators will recall that the request of Mr. President Commander-in-Chief will refer to the committee on Wednesday, 22nd September 2021. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Suleiman Abdukwari, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Seconder.
Move the motion.
Those in favor that Senator Suleiman Kwari, I take that back. Those in favor that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes. on the confirmation on the nomination of the following persons for appointment as secretary and members of the Economic and Financial Crimes, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Kwari, please, you may present the motion, please.
Okay.
You don't have to move. Just present.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Senator Suleiman Abdul Kwari, representing Kaduna North. I rise to move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes on the confirmation of the nomination of the following persons for appointment as secretary and members of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. 1. George Aban Ekwengu, Secretary to the Commission, Cross River State. Lukman Muhammad, Board Member from Edo State. Anumba Adezi, Board Member, Enugu State. Kola Rahim Adeshina, Board Member from Kwara State. And Alaji Yahaya Muhammad, Board Member from Yobe State. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I so move.
I think that's late. Any seconder? Our Chief Justice. Chief Justice.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Mariam, the main senator, you are here. I ask Mr. President to second the motion moved by my distinguished colleague that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Senate Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes on the confirmation of the nomination of the following person for appointment as secretary and members of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission: George Abang Ekugu, Cross River; Lukman Muhammad, Edo; Anumba Adaize, Enugu; Alaji Kola Rashid Adeshina, Kwara; and Yahaya Mohammed, Yobe. I so second, Mr. President. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may lay and present. You have to lay it here first. Please go ahead and present.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my very distinguished colleagues. The Senate will recall the nominations were made pursuant to Section 2(1) subsections 0 and P of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Act 2004, which provides for the appointment of the Secretary to the Commission, who shall be head of administration of the Commission, and the appointment of 4 eminent Nigerians with cognate experience in any of the following disciplines: finance, banking, and/or accounting, in addition to other institutional members. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the nominees are as contained on page 2, as earlier stated. And they are George Aban Ekungo, Secretary to the Commission from Cross River State; Lukman Mohammed, Board Member from Edo State; Anumba Adeze, Board Member, Enugu State; Alhaji Kola Rahim Adeshina, Board Member, Kwara State; and Yahya Mohammed, Board Member, Yobe State. The committee, having requested and received from the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly matters all the necessary documents as listed on page 3, screened the nominees on the 27th September 2021 in meeting room 211, Senate Wing. Findings of the committee on each of the nominees are contained on pages 3 to 8, with our general observations and recommendations captured on page 9. And with the kind permission of Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, I take the observations on page 9 and the general recommendations. Recommendation 1. The nominees gave in-depth responses to the questions posed by members of the committee on the value they will add towards fulfilling the Commission's mandate. 2. The committee, after scrutinizing their credentials, was satisfied that the nominees have the requisite experience, integrity, professional competence, and industry to discharge the functions of the positions they were nominated for. The committee noted that there was no adverse security report, nor were there any petitions against any of them, and accordingly recommend as follows. After thorough scrutiny of all relevant documents of the nominees and sequel to their performances during the screening exercise, the members of the committee were satisfied with the nominees' qualifications, experience, and suitability, and accordingly recommend.
Dear colleagues, please, we have the chairman of the committee making his presentation. Please, let's be a little bit quiet. Thank you very much. Please proceed.
With all the experiences of the nominees and their suitability for the positions, the Senate, we wish to recommend that the Senate do confirm the nomination of the underlisted persons. 1. George Aban Ekongu, Secretary to the Commission. 2. Lukman Mohammed, Board Member. 3. Anumba Adeze, Board Member. 4. Alhaji Kola Rahim Adeshina, Board Member. And finally, Alhaji Yahya Mohammed, also as Board Member. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, on behalf of the committee, I wish to most sincerely thank the Senate for the opportunity to serve in this regard. I so move. Thank you very much.
Elisa Konda, Senator Abamuru.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Abba Moro, representing the very good people of the Benue South Senatorial District. I rise to second the motion and report ably presented by the chairman of the Committee on Anti-Corruption that the President's nominations to the board of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission be confirmed. I so second.
Contributions, please. Senator Barao, and thereafter Senator Adeja.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Senator Barao Jibrin. I represent Kano North. Mr. President, let me commend the committee for a job well done. They did very well in scrutinizing the pedigrees, the background of all these nominees. And from the report as read by the chairman, proper work was done in scrutinizing each and every one that was nominated by Mr. President. In view of the wonderful resumes of these nominees and the fact that each and every one of them has an outstanding pedigree, I wish to say that the report of the committee should be adopted as recommended. And I urge my colleagues that on this note, without much ado, we should go forward to give our note so that these nominees, as recommended by the committee, would be adopted. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Hassan Adeja, and then after that, Committee of the Whole.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Ibrahim Hassan Adeja, representing Jigawa Northeast. Mr. President, before we go ahead and adopt the report, I want to bring to the notice of the House certain discrepancies in the report that I think are contradictory, especially with regard to one of the nominees, Alhaji Aya Mohammed, on page 8, where the nominee, according to the records, actually started primary school before he was born. And there's also an overlap in the sequence of his educational experience, because it says here he was born on 29 September 1969, but started Unguru Central Primary School in 1968. And then he was in Borno Teachers College from 1975 to 1988, while simultaneously in the College of Administrative Studies Sporting School from 1980 to 1981. If these are typographical errors, Mr. President, then maybe we should have them corrected by the Secretariat before we proceed for our records. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Leader of the Senate, Committee of the Whole.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that this Senate resolve into the Committee of the Whole to consider this report. I so move.
Honorable Leader.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion as moved.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Approval. Will the Senate approve the nomination of George Abang Ekpongo of Cross River State as Secretary of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Lukman Mohammed of Edo State as a member of the Economic and Financial Crimes EFCC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 3. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Anumba Adaze of Enugu State as a member of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC? Those in favor of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 4. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Alhaji Kola Rahim Adeshina of Kwara State as a member of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 5. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Alhaji Yahaya Muhammad of Yobe State as a member of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate. Progress.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to move a motion that the chair reports progress. I so move.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to second the motion that the chair revert to plenary to report progress.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate, in the Committee of the Whole, considered the report of the Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes on the screening of Mr. President's nominees for appointment as Secretary and Board members of the Economic and Financial Crimes CFCC, and approved the nominations of 1. George Abang Ekungu as Secretary to the Commission of Cross River State. 2. Lukman Mohammed as Board member from Edo State. 3. Anumba Adaze, Board member of EFCC from Enugu State. 4. Alhaji Kola Rahim Adeshina, Board member from Kwara State. 5. Alhaji Yahaya Muhammad, Board member, Yobe State, as Secretary and Board members of the EFCC. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Confirmation. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of 1. George Abang Ekbungu of Cross River State as Secretary of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC? Those in favor of this say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. George Abang Ekbungu of Cross River State is confirmed as Secretary of the EFCC. As Secretary of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Lukman Mohammed of Edo State as a member of the Economic and Financial Crimes, EFCC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Lukman Mohammed of Edo State as a member of EFCC is confirmed. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Anumba Adaze of Enugu State as a member of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Anumba Adaze of Enugu State as a member of EFCC is confirmed. 4. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Alhaji Kola Rahim Adeshina of Kwara State as a member of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Alhaji Kola Rahim Adeshina of Kwara State as a member of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is confirmed. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Alhaji Yahaya Muhammad of Yobe State as a member of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The nomination of Alhaji Yahaya Mohammed of Yobe State as a member of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is confirmed. On behalf of the Senate President and our colleagues, we extend our very warm congratulations to all of the members as they commence their new assignment. Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the second order of the day is the consideration of the report of the Committee on Health, that's secondary and tertiary, on the Teaching Hospital Development Tax Fund Establishment Bill 2021. Mr. President and distinguished senators will recall that the report of the committee was laid on Wednesday, 21st April 2021. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Ibrahim Yahaya Oloregbe, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the consideration of the report.
Senator Yahaya Oloregbe, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Ibrahim Yahaya Oloregbe. I represent Kwara Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to move that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee on Health, Secondary and Tertiary on the Tertiary Hospital Development Fund Establishment Bill 2021, SB 136. I so move, Mr. President.
Any seconder? Senator Otazi, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Senator Chukwuka Otazi. I rise to second the motion that the report of the Committee on Health, Secretary and Tertiary, that the Senate do consider the report of Health and Tertiary, Secondary and Tertiary on Tertiary Hospital Development Fund Establishment Bill 2021. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Oloregbe, you may present the report.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. The Senate at its sittings on Tuesday, 12th day of May 2020 and Tuesday, 19th of May 2020, read for the second time two bills. One, the Advanced Healthcare Development Fund ETC Bill, SB 371, which was sponsored by my colleague, distinguished Senator Professor Sunday Ono, and the Federal Tertiary Teaching Hospital Development Tax Fund, etc. Bill 2020, SB 136, sponsored by Senator Muhammad Sani Musa, respectively, and refer both to the Committee on Health, Secondary and Tertiary for further legislative action. The committee considered both bills and came up with a title to read a bill for an act to establish the Tertiary Hospital Development Fund for the rehabilitation, restoration, improvement of tertiary healthcare delivery in Nigeria and for related matters, SB 371 and SB 136, as both bills are expected to address the same issue, being development fund for tertiary hospital. The committee undertook a public hearing on 1st day of February 2021 in order to get views and opinion of stakeholders and the general public. And as presented on page 2 and 3, the participants at the public hearing and the various views as expressed in the public hearing. Our observation, Mr. President. It is common knowledge that the Nigerian tertiary health services is very poor and faced with many challenges, including inadequate infrastructure, equipment, supply, and necessary technology. These deficiencies can be addressed with the availability of resources that is efficiently, effectively, and transparently managed. Over the time, efforts by federal government through intervention programs have not yielded much results. This bill, therefore, seeks to address the gaps that are highlighted in the report. In addition to the above, the country urgently needs to put in place robust structures with the capacity to deal with emergent health emergencies, such as the current rampaging coronavirus, which is a global pandemic. The country also needs to stop the current unacceptable medical tourism that its citizens are forced to undertake with huge foreign exchange loss. An acceptable healthcare system must ensure that citizens have access to healthcare services, and the services must be cost-effective and meet certain established standards of quality. With these bills, the country will be complying with Goal 3, good health and well-being of the Sustainable Development Goal 2030. The objective of the bill is to establish the Tertiary Hospital Development Fund for the rehabilitation, restoration, and consolidation of tertiary healthcare in Nigeria. Establish for the fund the governing board consisting of a chairman and other representatives as members. The fund will provide for and maintain infrastructures essential for tertiary care services delivery, health research, staff training, and development, among others. The bill proposes how the funds will be sourced, thereby eliminating the burden of financing placed on the federal government. It also ensures that the funds are targeted, therefore limiting its use to improving healthcare delivery system in Nigeria. After a clause-by-clause consideration of both bills, the committee recommends that the two bills be consolidated, just as stated above, and the new bill consists of 7 parts, 27 clauses, a schedule, an explanatory memorandum, and a long title. The committee therefore recommends that all the clauses in the consolidated bill be approved by this hallowed chamber. In conclusion, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, while seeking your support for this bill and its related passage into law, on behalf of the committee, I sincerely thank the Senate President, Deputy Senate President, the entire Senate leadership, and all my distinguished colleagues for the opportunity given to us to serve this capacity. I so submit, Mr. President.
Thank you, Chairman. Any comment? If none, the Leader of the Senate, Committee of the Whole.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to move the motion that this distinguished chamber resolve into the Committee of the Whole to consider this report. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion that the Senate resolve into a Committee of Whole for consideration of this report.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Motion of the Whole. The report, the bill has 27 clauses. Clause 1. Those in favor of clause 1, people of you say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 2, 3, and 4. Those in favor that clauses 2, 3, and 4 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 5, 6, and 7. Those in favor that these 3 clauses form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 8, 9, and 10 accounts. Those in favor that these 3 clauses form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 11, that's assessment and collection of tax. 12 and 13, all retained. Those in favor that these 3 clauses form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 14, annual report, 15, gifts, 16, power to borrow, all retained. Those in favor that these three clauses for part of the bill say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 17, offenses and penalties, 18, limitations against suit, and 19, service of documents, all retained. Those in favor that these three clauses for part of the bill say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 20, restriction on execution, 21, indemnity, 22, directives, all retained. Those in favor that these three clauses for part of the bill say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 23, 24, and 25, all retained. Those in favor that these three clauses for part of the bill say aye, those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 26 is interpretation. Those in favor that clause 26 for part of the bill say aye, those against say nay. The ayes have it. 27 is a short title. Those in favor that this short title for part of the bill say aye, those against say nay. The ayes have it. The schedule. Those in favor that the schedule for part of the bill say aye, those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum. Those in favor that this form part of the bill say aye, those against say nay. The ayes have it. The long title on page 1. Those in favor that the long title for part of the bill say aye, those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues, I rise to move a motion that the chair reports progress. So move.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to second the motion.
Those in favor of the motion say aye, those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate, in the Committee of the Whole, considered the report of the Committee on Health, Secondary and Tertiary on the Tertiary Hospitals Development Fund for the rehabilitation, restoration, improvement of tertiary healthcare delivery in Nigeria Establishment Bill 2021 and approved as follows. Long title, as recommended. Number of clauses, clauses 1 to 25, as recommended. Interpretation, clause 26, as recommended. Short title, clause 27, as recommended. Schedules, 1, as recommended. Explanatory memorandum, as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader, Senate. Third reading.
Respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to move a motion that the Teaching Hospital Development Tax Fund Establishment Bill 2021 be read the third time. I so move.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion.
Those in favor that this bill be now read the third time say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Federal Tertiary Teaching Hospital Development Tax Fund for the rehabilitation, restoration, improvement, and consolidation of tertiary healthcare delivery in Nigeria and for other matters connected therewith 2021 SB 394, third reading.
A bill for an act to establish the Federal Tertiary Teaching Hospital Development Tax Fund for the rehabilitation, restoration, improvement, and consolidation of tertiary healthcare delivery in Nigeria, and for other matters connected thereto, 2021. Third reading. Taken. The bill is read the third time and is passed. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the third order of the day is the second reading of the Disaster and Risk Management Council of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2021. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read the first time in this distinguished chamber on Tuesday, 7th July 2020. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Sadiq Suleiman Omar to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time. Mr. President, I would like to move a motion that this this bill, the second reading should be stepped down to another legislative day because Senator Sadiq Suleiman Umar has traveled, out of office. Will be back, so maybe tomorrow we will take it up. So I would like to move a motion that we should step this consideration of this second reading to another legislative day. I so move.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion that this particular item be stepped down for reasons of the absence of the sponsor. I so second.
Those in favor that the motion has moved to step down this bill to another legislative say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fourth order of the day, the second reading of the River Basin Development Act, Cap R9, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, Amendment Bill 2021. The distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read the first time in this distinguished chamber on Wednesday, 5th February 2020. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Ike Ikoremadu to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time. In the absence of Senator Ike Ikoremadu, he has mandated distinguished Senator Utazi to do the second reading on his behalf. I therefore request Your Excellency to invite distinguished Senator Utazi to conduct the second reading of this important bill. I so move.
Senator Utazi, please. You may proceed.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Chukwuka Utazi, and I represent the good people of Enugu North Central District of Enugu State. Lay debate on a bill for an act to amend the provisions of River Basins Developmental Authorities Cap R9 LFN 2004. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, please at this privilege of leading the debate on a bill for an act to amend the provisions of the River Basin Development Authorities Act Cap R9 LFN 2004. This bill is also referred to by its short title as the River Basin Development Authority Establishment, etc.
It doesn't appear they've received the lead debate yet. Is that correct? Okay, so maybe we should wait. You may have to start again. Are we all okay now? Are we all okay? Okay, Senator Tazi, you may proceed.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I'm pleased at this privilege of leading the debate on a bill for an act to to amend the provisions of the River Basins Development Authorities Act Cap R9 LFN 2004. The bill is also referred to by its short title as the River Basins Development Authority Establishment ETC Amendment Bill 2021. This bill was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Wednesday, 5th February 2020. This bill was passed into law in the 6th and 8th Assembly, but could not be assented to till the end of that assemblies. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues are already aware, River Basins Development Authorities are established to, among others, carry out the following functions. 1. Undertake comprehensive development of both surface and underground water resources for multi-purpose use, with particular emphasis on the provision of irrigation infrastructure and control of floods and erosion for watershed management. 2. Construct, operate and maintain dams, dikes, wells, boreholes, irrigation and drainage systems, and hand over all lands to be cultivated under the irrigation scheme to the farmers. 3. Supply water for the authorities' storage schemes to all users for a fee. 4. Construct, operate and maintain roads and bridges linking project sites. And 5. Develop and keep up-to-date and comprehensive water resources master plan, as well as water resources, water use, socio-economic and environmental data of the river basin concerned. We have at present 12 river basin development authorities for the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. And the distribution of the 12 authorities leave the southeast zone with only one, the Anambra Imo River Basin Development Authority. It is now certain that one river basin development authority is grossly inadequate to cater for the 5 states of the southeast. This Bill 6, therefore, among other things, to create an additional river basin development authority to cater for some states of the southeast. Specifically, the bill seeks to divide this existing Anambra Imo River Basin Development Authority into 2, namely Imo River Basin Development Authority to cater for Imo and Abia states, and the Anambra River Basin Development Authority to cater for Anambra, Enugu and Ebonyi states. The bill further seeks to change the nomenclature of the Chief Executive of River Basins Development Authorities from General Manager to Managing Director. It further seeks to realign the jurisdiction of the various River Basins Development Authorities for ease of reference and administration, and to provide the legal basis for some of existing River Basin Development Authorities that had no law creating them. Example, Lower Niger River Basin Development Authority, comprising of Kwara and Kogi states with headquarters in Ilori. There is no gainsaying that the amendment of this bill seeks will entail obvious financial implications for the federal government in setting up of administrative structure as well as personnel costs. This is estimated at 50 million per annum, as it is expected that the host government, state government will provide initial accommodation to the new authority created. 50 million, however, pales into insignificance when compared with the benefits that are accrued to the areas under the jurisdiction of the new authority in such sectors as agricultural extension, provision of dams for irrigation and power generation, rural feeder road development, etc. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I may therefore, in view of the laudable objective of this bill, invite you all to support its passage into law. Mr. President, that being the case, the Southeast is making a case once more again in this 9th Assembly, and we seek, with the support of everyone here, that you can do that, because we really want to have a food for all. If I having a development authority, you are going to help farmers to to have access to dams and irrigation so that you can produce more food for the country. You know, and this part of the time that we have trouble in the northeast and northwest with the insurgents and the bandits and the Boko Haram activities. We need one here in the south so that we can counterbalance that. The trouble we are having, the shortages we were having in the north can be taken care of in the southeast. With that, I make a case that this may be read for the second time. Thank you so much.
I will ask for a second round comments. But before I do that, let me just ask. In this lead debate, you mentioned here that the bill seeks to change the nomenclature of the CEOs of the River Basin Development Authority from GM to MD. I think my understanding is that they are MDs right now. Aha. Okay, thank you. So, having said that, any comment? Senator Gobiro, please.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency and distinguished colleagues. I rise to support this motion because of its importance. I believe it is important that we should have the same as we are talking about. But what you are talking about concerning the main function based on the main act of this bill, I think it's not even happening. Because currently, if you go to the north, for example, northwest, northeast, and whatever, where we have all these river basins, you find that nothing is even happening. No irrigation, issue of ecological problem, issue of erosion. So many other things are not even happening. So they are not doing what they are supposed to do. So, though I'm supporting this, but I think there is need when it comes to the committee level to invite all these people and discuss with them so that at least they should go back to the non-function of the basins, because they are there to provide, to take care of dams, provide irrigation for the production of food and other services. And if you look at what is happening, all the basins, all the dams are silted. They have not been desilted. You find trees growing out in the dams. So that is why the water intake is now less. Instead of taking about 100%, it's only about 30% taken. The remaining part of that water goes back to flood the whole area and then force evacuation of villages. So I think it's important to look at some of these issues. I support this one. Let there be a second reading, but I think there is need to look at this area also. Thank you.
Senator Alero, please. I'll put the question after that.
River basins are not established based on geopolitical zones, but rather based on availability of land for irrigation. If the land is available, there is no problem whatsoever. Government can move in and provide facilities to construct dams, build canals, and other associated equipment that can make it possible for farmers to go into farming all year round. That's the essence of river basin all over the country. The whole of Northwest, I stand to be corrected, has only one river basin development authority. That is Sokoto River Basin Development Authority that caters for Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, and Kebbi. Kano has its own river basin. And that of Kano is done by Kano State Government, the Kadawa irrigation scheme. It's only Jigawa that is merged with Jamari River Basin Development Authority, where Bauchi and Jigawa stand to be beneficiaries. So it all depends on the land available. If the land is not available, you cannot do magic. I'm not against the idea of having another river basin development authority to be created in the southeast, but we have to look at the possibility of getting land instead of additional administrative structures. I would rather suggest that we expand the existing river basin that is currently serving the southeast to do more irrigation schemes, to construct more dams, more boreholes for the people. And I think this is the essence of requesting for additional river basin to be done in the southeast. As long as this is done, I don't think there is any problem. But if you consider that 5 states in the southeast, the whole land mass is not up to that of Niger State. And Niger is having only one river basin development authority together with Kwara. We have more land to cultivate in Niger than we have in the entire southeast. So, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I believe in equity. Yeah, I believe in equity.
Who has the floor, please?
Mr. President, I believe in equity and social justice. And, but in doing that, you also have to look at the possibility of getting land to create additional river basin in the southeast. So if the land is available, I have no objection. Let it be done. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Gaya, and then we'll put the question.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I am Kabiru Gaya, representing the people of Kano South from Kano State. Mr. President, this bill, I support the bill for the creation of additional river basin in area where it is needed. But my major problem, Mr. President, is that the river basins are not even functioning. To us in Kano State, it was more of a minus than a plus, because the late Audu Bako, who was the first governor of Kano State, created a Tiga Dam, and that Tiga Dam was to give hundreds of thousands of hectares for irrigation, and many other ash dams he did in Kano. We started the irrigation project by the state government at that time. Within the 7 years, we was able to do over 100,000 hectares of irrigation land. But federal government came up with an idea of setting up a river basins, and they took up that project. For 30 years, now over 30 years, federal government didn't do more than 20,000 hectares. I mean 5,000 hectares of farmland. So whereby if we had gone with the process we started before, and this one was even under state government, we could have done much more. But the federal government took the river basins, and they are not funding them, and we're getting a minus to us, and we're having more problems. The dams were not desilted, as said by Senator Gobir, and now we get floods during the rainy season. Most of our farms get submerged. Last few years I was affected. My farm was totally submerged. I planted rice for almost 600 hectares, and it was gone with because of the flood. So I believe there is a need to enhance the position of river basins, give them more funds, and let them perform. If creating another one in the southeast, especially in the zone Enugu and Anambra zones, if that could be created, we don't have problem. But the issue that we we're able reducing the little resources we have to distribute to other basins. That's my major concern.
Thank you. I will put the question, but before I do so, let me just state that at this stage of legislative proceedings, we're debating the general principles of the bill. That's what it's about. Having said that, I'll put the question. Those in favor that this bill be now read the second time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the provision of the River Basin Development Authority Act R9 2004, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 for equitable distribution of river basin development authorities and for other matters connected therewith 2021 SB 297, second reading.
A bill for an act to amend the provisions of the River Basin Development Authorities Act Cap R9 2004, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 for equitable distribution of river basin development authorities and for other matters connected therewith 2021. The bill is read for the second time and committed to the Committee on Water Resources to report back within 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fifth order of the day is the second reading of the compulsory treatment and care of victims of Gunshot Act 2017, Amendment Bill 2021. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read the first time in this distinguished chamber on Tuesday, 22nd June 2021. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Oluremi Shade Tinubu to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Senator Tinubu, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Oluremi Tinubu, representing Lagos Central Senatorial District. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, it is a privilege to lead the debate on the general principles of this bill for an act to amend the compulsory treatment.
Please proceed.
It is a privilege to lead the debate on the general principles of this bill for an act to amend the compulsory treatment and care for victims of Gunshot Act 2017 SB 748 to expand its scope, establish a medical emergencies assistance fund, and for related matters. This bill was first read on Tuesday, 22nd of June 2021. The compulsory treatment and care for victims of Gunshot Act 2017 attempts to enforce treatment of victims of gunshot injury who prior to its enactment were being refused treatment by hospitals as a result of misinterpretation of Section 4 of the Robbery and Firearms Special Provision Act Cap 398 Laws of the Federation 1990, which provides that 1. It shall be an offense punishable under this act for any person to knowingly house, shelter, or give quarters to sheltering any person who has committed an offense under Section 1, subsection 2 of this act. 2. It shall be the duty of any person, hospital, or clinic that admits, treats, or administers any drug to any person suspected of having bullet wounds to immediately report the matter to the police. 3. Any A, person who, or B, hospital or clinic which fails to report as stipulated in subsection 2 of this section shall be guilty of an offense under this act. 4. A person convicted of an offense under subsection 1 and 3 of this section shall be liable. A, in the case of an individual to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years, and B, in the case of a hospital or clinic, to a fine of 10,000 naira, and in addition, the hospital or clinic shall be closed down. Thus, the compulsory treatment and care for victims of Gunshot Act 2017 provides, amongst others, that 1, every hospital public or private, shall receive for treatment with or without police clearance, with or without monetary deposits, persons with gunshot wounds, and criminalize this contravention. 2. Security agents and persons alike shall render every assistance to persons with gunshot wounds, etc. The Act goes on to provide a mechanism for reporting treatment of persons with gunshot wounds to police and precludes persons from being the subject of embarrassing interrogation for helping victims. It is, however, shocking that in spite of the Act, the flagrant disregard of human lives continues unabated. It is particularly sad that we continue to let brilliant and skillful minds go to waste in what are apparently avoidable deaths. In a country where emergency response service is almost non-existent and getting victims to the hospital is already burdensome, it is sad that where the victim makes it to the hospital alive, they are still denied treatment and left to die. This is not only barbaric or inhumane, it is a violation of the Hippocratic Oath which medical professionals swear to. The situation is further made worse by the fact that obtaining these police reports has been commercialized by some, thus ensuring that there is no quick and easy way to get it done. On Friday, 15th of January 2021, David Intekem Rex, 22 years old systems engineer, was on his way from work and was attacked around Jibo Yaba in Lagos Central Senatorial District. Police, upon arrival at the crime scene, were said to be more concerned with whether he was a Yahoo boy and building a report than having saving David. It is alleged that he was rushed to the military hospital Yaba, where he was refused treatment on the basis that they could not ascertain whether or not he was a robber, and was subsequently moved to the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Luth, where he was not attended to before he gave up the ghost. For proper introduction, David is a child prodigy who contested against 17,000 other persons from various countries to emerge co-regional winner of the annual Master the Mainframe competition, organized by Angel Arc and IBMZ Academic Initiative. Unfortunately, the case of David is not a lone occurrence. Similarly, in December 2019, Muradil Balogun was stabbed at Bagada in Lagos State. Covered in her own blood, she managed to get to the nearest hospital where she was refused medical care until she bled to death. It is, however, sad that if the Compulsory Treatment of Victims of Gunshot Injuries Act was to follow to the letter, Muradil would still have been denied medical attention. Thus, this bill attempts to expand the scope of application to cover victims of gunshot injuries, knife wounds, and other life-threatening medical emergencies, and is predicated on a need to ensure that the Act passed into law in 2017 addresses the purpose of its enactment. Often the argument is the financial burden on hospitals of providing medical care without payment. Thus, this bill also proposes the establishment of a Medical Emergencies Assistance Fund, MIF, to be administered for the purpose of paying for medical and associated costs in providing care to victims who are unable to cover the cost of medical care received. We must, as a nation, start to place more value on human lives. A first step towards that would be lending support to this bill and ensuring its expedited passage. Distinguished colleagues, in complying with Order 77, subsection 3 of the Senate Standing Order 2015 as amended, the financial implication of this bill is annexed. Therefore, I urge all my colleagues to please support this bill, and it's for the future of the present and the future of our generation. Thank you very much.
Deputy Leader of the Senate, Senator Boniface.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues, my name is Robert Boniface, representing Ondo North Senatorial District. I want to congratulate distinguished Senator Tinubu for sponsoring this bill and also leading the debate today. Mr. President, the right to live, or the right to live is part of fundamental human rights. And therefore, I cannot really imagine those who frame the law saying that people with gunshot should not be treated. The assumption here is that these people, once you have gunshot, you are a criminal, which is not right. It's very subjective. I'm happy that even in amending this law, the sponsor has represented, provided for medical emergency assistance fund, which also will cure the problem of providing for the treatment. I wholeheartedly support this bill, and I want to appeal to my colleagues to support it. It's not controversial. It's a straightforward bill that I'm sure everybody will support. I therefore ask my colleague to support this bill for second reading. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Buacha, and thereafter Senator Musu.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity. Mr. President, I want, like the speaker before me, appreciate our colleague, Senator Oluremi, for this thought-provoking initiative. This bill is a demonstration of the desire to acknowledge the human value, the sanctity of the human life. Mr. President, I want to put it this way. Assuming a criminal is injured, a law that does not allow him to be treated should be seen as a wicked law, because there are instant provisions wherein criminals are supposed to be tried, and when found guilty, they should face punishment. I'm saying this from an experience I had before. Like our colleague did mention here, in my very eye, I saw an innocent Nigerian who was denied treatment because they were acting on the provisions of the law. That is the excuse the police will always give you. In a country where the lives of an individual is not serious until there are many, because sometimes they will tell, okay, how many lives were lost? One life is as important as the lives of 1,000 people. We are not trying to encourage criminality, especially in an age where capital punishment is becoming unpopular. So whatever the case may be, a criminal should be kept so that more information can also be even extracted from such criminal. This is how to track criminals and get to the root of the causes of criminality. If you get a criminal who is injured and you say you won't treat him, let him die, he dies with an information that will have helped the security agencies curtail the reoccurrence of such criminality. And as a nation that is being looked upon as a giant of Africa, we should be able to set a good precedent that other nations in the African sub-region will follow. Mr. President, I add my voice in support of this bill, and I believe that the needful will be done concerning this bill. Thank you very much.
All of us are in support.
Thank you, Senator Musu.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ibikunle Amusu, I represent Ogun Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, let me join my colleagues in commending the mover of this motion, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. Mr. President, just like the earlier speakers mentioned, this is a straightforward motion. Mr. President, in this time and age, indeed it's a shame that we are still having to come up with motions like this. The question is, who is not affected, Mr. President? Because you hear this thing every day, day and day, in almost every part of the country. And I want to toe the line of Senator Buacha, that as the lawyers will say, that let's not even assume without considering that the victim are criminals, or maybe they've just done something wrong. That will not mean that the sacredness of the sanctity of life should not be protected. Life to us, the way we are going, it doesn't mean anything to us. And that is why they will see somebody dying, and people will now begin to ask, where's your police report? Is he a victim of this? Is he a victim of that? Even if those people have committed those crimes, it is when they are alive that they can face the music, that they can learn, others will learn from it. So, Mr. President, I want to support this because innocent lives have been lost severally. I've witnessed several. Even some, even in ordinary accident, people will refuse to treat because they will say, no, they don't know. This one looks like a gunshot. This one looks like this one looks like that. And they refuse to treatment for those lives. And numerous lives have been lost. So, Mr. President, I think this is timely. And I want to believe that just as have been expressed by our colleagues that everybody is in support of this motion. So on that note, I want to enjoin our colleagues to support this so that it can go to public hearing, and I'm sure that people will still come up with many ideas on how this can be stopped. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. I will put the question, but before I do so, let me just point this out. It does appear that the legal obligation on the part of the hospitals and the security agents to provide medical assistance is already established here. My concern is this: what happens when they fail to carry out that legal obligation? Look at this, and I read, every hospital, that's the bill, every hospital, public or private, shall receive for treatment, shall. The legal obligation is already mandatory, it's already created, with or without police clearance, with or without monetary deposit, persons with gunshot wounds, and criminalizes contravention. It does criminalize contravention. What is the punishment? What is the penalty in the event that they contravene this? Is it provided for? Okay. If it's not provided for, when you go to public hearing, please take that into account. I will now proceed to put the question. Those in favor that this bill be now read a second time, say aye. Then again say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the compulsory treatment and care of victims of gunshots Act 2017 to expand its scope, establish a medical emergencies assistance fund, and align punishments contained therein with current realities and for related matters 2021 SB 748, second read.
A bill for an act to amend the compulsory treatment and care of victims of gunshots Act 2017 to expand the scope, establish a medical emergency and assistance fund, and align punishments contained therein with current realities and for related matters 2021, second reading taken. The bill is referred to the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters and the report back within 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the sixth order of the day is the second reading of the Federal College of Education Idanre, Olu, Ondo State Establishment Bill 2021. The distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read the first time in this distinguished chamber on Wednesday, 20th February 2020. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the distinguished Senator Patrick Ayo Akinyelure to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Senator Akinyelure, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name remains Senator Akinyelure. Mr. President, I move that the bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal College of Education in Delhi and related matters. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead this debate on the general principles of this important bill. A bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal College of Education in Ondo State and related matters. This bill was read for the first time on this House chamber of the Senate on Wednesday, 5th February 2020. This bill seeks to amend the Federal College of Education Cap F8 Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 to provide for the establishment of the Federal College of Education in Ondo State, to address the imbalance in the establishment and distribution of federal institutions in Ondo State, and secondly, as a result of the economic importance of Plenary, as the largest major producer of cocoa and timber products with vast forest reserve adjudged the largest in Old Western Nigeria, contributing over 70% of the internally generated revenue of Ondo State. Education is considered anywhere in the world as a major pillar for fundamental national development. It is in realization of this that the federal government of Nigeria formulated a national education policy that facilitated the establishment of 20 federal colleges of education across the country. These are categorized into 1. College of Education Special in Oyo, 8 colleges of education technical spread across the following states: Gombe, Akoka, Yaba, Lagos, Asaba Delta, Bichi, Kano, Potiskum in Yobe, Omuku in Rivers, and Omoze in Anambra State. While the remaining 11 are vested with general powers to train Nigerian aspirants to become teachers in all aspects of education. Data from National College of Education showed that there are 93 accredited colleges of education in Nigeria. This number, to me, is grossly inadequate for a country with over 200 million people. The need, Mr. President, for a College of Education in Ondo State, whose sole objective will be to serve as training institution for the development of teachers' education in the country, cannot be overemphasized. There is a local government area and historic town in the federal constituency of Ondo State, Central District, Nigeria. The town is located at the foot of the scenic Idari Hills, which is of unique cultural and environmental significance and attract many tourists. There is Nigeria's largest producer of cocoa, producing cocoa area with significant annual contribution to the Nigerian GDP. The local government houses the second largest deposit of bitumen in the world and therefore require an educational institution to train children from the area whose parents are predominantly farmers. Fundamental subject of the bill. As stated in the fundamental 1 to 6, then we have the structure of the bill. We have the advantages, further advantages of passage of the bill to law. The bill is, if the bill is passed to law, to encourage the advancement of learning and to hold out to all persons without distinction of race, creed, sex, religion, or political affiliation. 2, to develop and offer academic and professional programs leading to the award of various certificates with emphasis on planning, developmental, adaptive skills, technology, applied science, agriculture, commerce, arts, social sciences, and applied professional disciplines in education by focusing on teacher education through training and learning innovations. 3, identify educational needs and challenges of the country and set agenda towards tackling them. 4, provide sufficient pool of funds to train qualified educational professionals for schools all over the country. Bring quality change in education by focus on teacher education through training, learning innovations. And finally, Mr. President, the structure of the bill is we have 3 clauses and 3 parts to the bill. Cost implication. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the legislative proposal seeks to establish Federal College of Education in the Ondo State. The committee within the federal constituency in which the proposition will be cited has concluded arrangement to provide the necessary infrastructure to hold the institution as a temporary site, pending when budgetary allocations are made for the permanent site. It is therefore worthy to note, Mr. President, that donation of a befitting building structure to kickstart the operation of the college has been made by the host community. This initiative is considered laudable and demonstration of goodwill, patriotism, desperate need to have the institution by the entire people of the federal constituency in Ondo Central District. However, in line with Order 773 of the Senate Standing Order 2015 as amended, a compendium of financial application of the establishment of the college is hereby attached. Conclusion, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, members of the Senate, I owe it a duty to reiterate that this bill is very crucial for the development of Ondo Central, given this rich content in updating the existing law. The establishment of the Federal College of Education in Idari, Ondo Central will go a long way in facilitating development in the district. Ondo State, and Nigeria in general. Mr. President, I move that I submit for consideration and approval of the Distinguished Senator of Federal Republic of Nigeria to consider this bill for second reading. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a very, very routine bill for establishment. I don't think it requires debate or too much debate. But before I do that, let me just make a clarification with respect to the last bill we considered, and that's the bill to amend the Compulsory Treatment and Care of Victims of Gunshot Act 2017. I think it's appropriate, my attention has just been called, that maybe we need to include the committees of health to complement the work of the Committee on Judiciary and Human Rights. And it's so ordered. Secretariat, please note. Yes, so I will just take one, and maybe I should take that from a colleague from his home state, if you don't mind, Senator Tofo Omo. That contribution, and thereafter we put the question.
Thank you, Mr. Senate President. I'm happy that you called me. I've known Idore for more than 50 years. It's a very lovely community. They've been aspiring for having a higher institution for more than 40 years. And I'm happy to celebrate with my colleague for putting this bill forward. It's a very good bill. In Nigeria, presently, we have about 93 federal government colleges, federal government colleges, federal colleges of education. This is inadequate. Looking at the population of Nigeria, which is over 200 million, that means that we attach a school to about 2 million people. Idore is a lovely community. They have over 20 secondary schools, more than 30 primary schools. With this college of education, definitely it will improve education in that axis, and life will change. So I sincerely support this bill, and I believe all of us we put our voice together and allow this bill to fly. Thank you.
Thank you. I put the question. Those in favor that this bill be not read the second time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Education Idare on those states and for other related matters 2021 SB 300, second reading.
A bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Education Idare on those states and for other related matters 2021, second reading taken. The bill is referred to the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund to report back within 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the 7th order of the day and the 8th order of the day are motions on the same manner. The first one is the motion standing in the name of distinguished Senator Chukwuka Otazi on the approval for the restoration of the suppressed Nsukka South State Constituency, Enugu State, in compliance with the decision of the Federal High Court and Section 115 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The one in the 8th order of the day is a motion standing in the name of distinguished Senator Okajev Emmanuel Isa on the need to restore in Yamatso State Constituency of Benue State. Mr. President, we discussed these two motions at the leadership meeting before we came in, and we think they are dealing with the same issue. So with your permission and the leave of the Senate, I would like to urge Mr. President to invite both Senator Chukwuka Otazi and distinguished Senator Okajev to present their motions and then I have also discussed the matter with the chairman, Committee on INEC, so that he will make his comment on the two motions, because these are issues that are concurrent on the floor of the Senate, and something is being done about them, so that we can be able to conclude, before our legal time is up. So I would like, with your permission, Mr. President, and the leave of the Senate, Mr. President, invite both Secretary Senator Chukwuka Utazi and Senator Okajem to read their motion, and then maybe a comment will come from the floor afterwards. I so present, Mr. President. Thank you, sir.
Senator Utazi, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Senator Chukwuka Utazi, and I represent the good people of Enugu North Central District of Enugu State. Mr. President, a motion seeking for approval for the restoration of the suppressed Nsukka South State Constituency, Enugu State, in compliance with the decision of the Federal High Court and Section 115 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. The Senate notes the decision of the Federal High Court, Abuja, on 20th of January 2017, delivered by Honorable Justice G.O. Kolawole, in the case of Honorable Cosmos Abu and 7 others, and INEC, suit number FHC/ABJ/CS 281/2015, which ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to restore the suppressed Nsukka South Constituency, Enugu State. This Senate notes that sequel to the said decision of the Federal High Court, and in compliance with the order of the court and the provision of Section 115 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, it has become necessary for the National Assembly to pass a concurrent resolution to give legislative approval for the restoration of the suppressed Nsukka South Constituency, Enugu State. And this Senate further observes that the delay in complying with the order of the Federal High Court in the matter already referred on the restoration of Nsukka State Constituency from Enugu East State Constituency of Enugu State is a serious constitutional aberration against the spirit of Section 91 and 115 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, and has over the years unjustly denied the people of Nsukka South their due representation in the Enugu State House of Assembly. Accordingly, this Senate resolves: 1. Approve the restoration of Nsukka State Constituency from Enugu East Constituency, Enugu State, as ordered by the Federal High Court in the suit already aforementioned, and in compliance with Section 91 and 115 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. 2. Approve that the Independent National Electoral Commission comply with this resolution by ensuring that the restoration of Nsukka South Constituency from Nsukka East State Constituency takes effect in the next State House of Assembly election after the current life of the Enugu State House of Assembly, in compliance with Section 115 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. And 3, and finally, seek the concurrence of the House of Representatives in line with Section 115 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. I so move.
Do you have the certified true copy of the judgment?
Yes, Mr. President. I have all of them here, and I can distribute with them to everybody. I'm bringing it. Yeah? What copies?
Senator, okay, Jeff, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, Jeff. I represent Benue Northwest. The Senate knows that Nyamaso State Constituency in Buruku local government area existed amongst other state constituencies in Benue State under the defunct Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 1979 and was made up of 8 council wards, including Bakian, Bayaka, Bakura, Batio, Bade, Bazage, and Ektulo, and Shoro. Aware that the Nyamasto State Constituency produced members into the State House of Assembly from 1979 until the Third Republic was aborted by the military in 1993. Convinced that the Independent National Electoral Commission acted outside of its statutory mandate when it excluded Nyamato State Constituency, which existed under the 1979 Constitution of Nigeria during the conduct of the 1999 general elections. Aware that Section 91 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 provides that subject to the provisions of the Constitution, a House of Assembly of a state shall consist of 3 or 4 times the number of seats which that state has in the House of Representatives, divided in a way to reflect as far as possible nearly equal to the population. Conscious that the Benue State, which has 11 seats in the House of Representatives, is supposed to have at least 33 state constituencies, as each seat in the House of Representatives is mandated to have 3 state constituencies in the State House of Assembly. Concerned that the situation in Benue State House of Assembly and Buruku Federal Constituency is such that Benue State House of Assembly has only 30 state members instead of 33 as mandated by Section 91 and 112 of the Constitution. Disturbed that Buruku Federal Constituency has only 1 member or seat instead of 3 members or seats as envisaged by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I may wish to add that Buruku is 1 local government with 1 federal constituency and 1 state assembly. Worried that this injustice against the people of Nyamaso State Constituency has also affected other state constituencies across 19 states. Recalls that the INEC in 2004 wrote to the National Assembly for approval to restore the suppressed state constituencies across the nation. Cognizant of the provisions of Section 114, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution for periodic review of the state constituencies, which provide that the Independent National Electoral Commission shall review the division of every state into constituencies at intervals of not less than 10 years, and may alter such constituencies following the provisions of these sections to such extent as it may consider desirable in the light of the review. Also worried that the last review of the state constituencies in Nigeria by the INEC was in 1998, resulting in the suppression of Nyamaso and 65 other state constituencies. Regrets that from 1998 to date, over 22 years, the INEC has continued to suppress the Nyamaso state constituencies and other 65 constituencies across 19 states of the Federation. And also aware that the essence of participatory democracy is to ensure inclusive governance to bring about a balanced development in society. But the people of Buruku have remained excluded and underrepresented as a result of this unconstitutional suppression of Nyamaso state constituency. Accordingly, the Senate resolves: 1. To urge the INEC to restore Nyamaso State Constituency in Buruku local government area of Benue State to comply with the extant laws and the provisions of Section 91 and 112 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. 2. To urge the INEC to carry out a general review of state constituencies in Nigeria in compliance with Section 114 of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria as amended, well ahead and in preparation for the 2023 general election. And lastly, seek the concurrence of the House of Representatives in line with Section 112 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I wish to state that this one has already been done, so maybe we'll drop it.
Oh, you already have the concurrence of the House? Okay.
Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Comments? I think I will rather send the guy round up, but let me take comments from other colleagues first. Senator Buacha.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues. I think the matter in question is not a controversial one. There are laid down procedures. And in my humble opinion, I think these procedures had been examined by courts of competent jurisdiction. And this has reduced significantly our duty, our job. So in the light of this, Mr. President, I would like to suggest that both motions receive an expeditious passage so that we can move forward. Thank you, Mr. President. I so submit.
Before the next chair speaks to this, let me make a distinction here. We have two motions before us. One of the motion is predicated on a court judgment. The other one is on the general provisions of the Constitution, asking INEC to do a periodic delimitation of constituencies, while one is basically asking INEC to obey a judgment of the court. Having said so, I will invite the chairman of the Committee on INEC to make his comments. Let's take leader first.
Before the chairman, Mr. President, I think it's important for us to bring some clarity to these issues, in order to enlighten members about what has gone on, before this war on these issues, that we are now before us. These are very important fundamental issues that affect our democracy and representativeness, of our parliament. Now, this issue is, even the INEC is very much aware of them. In the last report that was provided to the leadership of the Senate by INEC, you can recall, Mr. President, that INEC chairman with all the commissioners came and met the leadership about just before we embarked on our annual recess. And the fundamental issues were discussed, including this one. Now, as much as INEC would want to obey court judgments by restoring some of the constituencies for which judgments have been obtained, INEC has no problem with that, provided that the constitutional direction which Senator Buacha has talked about is allowed and is satisfied. But these issues are fundamental and they affect everywhere. They affect almost the entire country. So the issue now is whether to obey court judgments and restore only those for which judgments have been obtained. And once you do that, then you will have so many court cases, so many of these things will come and court will issue judgments. So some school of thought thought that the best way to go about it is to have for INEC to submit a comprehensive report, which I think involves about 65 constituencies across the nation, including those that have already received court judgments. So the idea is for INEC now to make these presentations. One of the issues that came up at that meeting was whether this kind of thing is possible before the 2023 elections. Now, that one will bring a lot of complications. So, for me, I know how strong and fundamental court judgments are, but I think it is important that in order to satisfy all these demands and deal with these issues once and for all, INEC should submit a comprehensive submission to the National Assembly, so that the National Assembly will take all these submissions and treat them once and for all. And then once we do that, including the ones that have already been, the judgments have already been obtained, but I don't know whether this is possible before the 2023 elections because of the logistic considerations and several other issues. So with this, I think, I don't know whether INEC can determine that. No, the National Assembly can determine that. You know, the National Assembly can sit down and tell INEC, yes, there is enough time for us to do that, or the time is not of essence, let the 2023 election go, but this constituency will be recreated so that everybody is satisfied once and for all. And we also reduce this window of litigation over litigation, so that once this thing is there, we will be able to sort it out. For me, I find it very difficult to understand why, after that meeting, now close to 3 months, INEC has not found it expedient, to bring this kind of comprehensive thing before the National Assembly. But this is without any prejudice to whatever contribution the chairman of INEC is going to make. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Chairman INEC, Senator Gaya, please.
Your Excellency, the leadership, my distinguished colleagues, I would like to commend both the movers of this motion in relation to the creation of more state constituencies. I could remember, Mr. Chairman, or Mr. President of the Senate, that about 22 years ago, that is precisely 1998, was the last year where this delineation of federal constituencies was done. 1998. That's about 22 years, sir. And I believe that one of these local governments in Suka, South, and then Yamaso state constituencies were part of those that were not created. And about 65 other constituencies across the nation have these similar problems, whether they had got judgment in the court or they followed the constitutional provision. So in view of that, Mr. President, I think we can collapse all the prayers to one single prayer, directing, what I'm saying is we should direct INEC to work on all those 65 outstanding demands.
Additional prayer. Shouldn't that be an additional prayer? Okay, when we get there, you bring us additional prayer. Our legal heads, you like to make any contributions? Bamidele Bashiru, on this?
Mr. President, we listened to this motion, and before it came up on the floor, I know I also had reasons to discuss with some of our colleagues. I believe the issues are straightforward, and there are things that should be squarely at the doorstep of INEC. And I'm glad the chairman of INEC is also on top of this. So I really feel we should just be committed to the Senate Committee on INEC to take it from there. Thank you, sir. Akoko.
Ajibola?
Want to choose me?
Thank you, Mr. President. Surajudeen Ajibola Bashiru Osun Central. I concur with the submission of the Chairman Judiciary and my senior from Ekiti Central. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have two motions before us here, as earlier indicated, do consolidated. And as the leader of the Senate said, this is not the first time this come before us. We've actually had the INEC leadership come before us and make some explanations. Some were acceptable to us, some we didn't feel went far enough. And that was why I decided that we should bifurcate this. There's some here that deals with court judgment, and there are others here without court judgment. I think with respect to the ones without the court judgment is very straightforward. We'll be urging as a prayer INEC, to carry out its constitutional obligation. So you move that additional prayer, won't get there. But I think with respect to the ones with the court judgment, as an institution, I think it behoves us to encourage compliance, with court judgments. I'm talking about final court judgments, unless appealed against. But I will agree with the leader of the Senate that no matter what we do here, we should not do anything that will throw spanners in the works of INEC as they prepare for the 2023 elections. So we take this against the background that whatever decisions we take here for both of implementation, that will come after the 2023 elections. I haven't said that. I'll go ahead and take the prayers, starting with that of Senator Otazi. Senator Otazi, your first prayer is that one, I hope this is your own, approve the restoration of Nsukka South State Constituency from Nsukka East State Constituency. Enugu State has ordered by the Federal High Court in suit number F Federal High Court /CS/281/21515 and in compliance with sections 91 and 115 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2. Approve that INEC complies with the resolution by ensuring that the restoration of the Nsukka South State Constituency from Nsukka East Constituency takes effect, say in the next House of Assembly election. I would say take effect. This will be by way of amendment after the 2023. No, the court have already done theirs. This is the Senate now. We are obeying the court judgment. We are not saying that the court judgment should not be obeyed. So we are seeking compliance. But we are saying here, as not for both of not disrupting 2023 general elections, that right is established. The right to have it restored is established by this motion, pursuant to the court judgment. I think we are clear on that. But we are saying that it takes effect after the 2023 general elections. Is that carried? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 3. Seek the concurrence of the House of Reps in line with section 115 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. As for that of Jeff, this one is a general request. We are not seeking here to comply with a court order. This is no different from every other request in the country. I think you mentioned 65 other requests. So what I think we will do, we will we'll take the amendment by the chairman Senate Committee on INEC. We'll vote down every other thing here and accept that amendment. Is that okay? Okay, let's move the amendment.
Mr. President, my decision.
With prayer 1.
Just amending prayer 2.
No, amendment.
Mr. President, I move to amend prayer 2 in order to include
prayer 1 and 3 and amend prayer 2.
prayer 2 in order to include all the other states that are looking for additional state constituencies. So therefore, we would like to collapse prayer 1 and 3 and then amend prayer 2. And it reads like this, sir. Urge the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to carry out a general review of the state constituencies in Nigeria in compliance with Section 114 of 1999 Constitution of Nigeria as amended, inclusive of all the cases decided by the court for the consideration of the National Assembly. I so move. Seconder.
No, it's already past 2 o'clock. There's no need for motion, all right? The Senate is adjourned to reconvene at 10 a.m. tomorrow, Wednesday, October 6, at 10 a.m. prompt. Those, well, no need to put it to vote again. Thank you.